Hi, today we are going to learn about multiplying area models with partial products. In the image below, you can see a sample of an area model with partial product. As we work through our examples today, we are going to start simple and work our way through multiplying area models that include fractions and mixed numbers. One important concept and vocabulary term that we've talked about earlier is expanded form. And this is going to be super helpful when working through our area models. And what expanded form is breaking up the number and writing it in a way that shows the value of each digit. So if you look at the numbers below, the first number is 7,294. Now, how you break that number up is you look at each of the digits. And you know 7 is in the thousands place, so that means 7,000. Then, if you look at the 2 is in the hundreds place, so that one is 200. And then if you look at the 9 is in the tens place, so that means 90. And when you look at the 4, it is in the ones place, so no 0 is needed, it is just the number 4. Here's one practice one for you. 394. How would you break that up into expanded form? Go ahead and try it now. All right, did you say 300 plus 90 plus 4? If you did, you were totally right. That's exactly how you would break the number 394 into expanded form. Now, let's look at the steps of area model and partial product. The first step is to break your numbers into smaller pieces that are easier to work with. This is where the expanded form comes into play. So for example, our problem in the example is 13 times 17. So they had to break that up into expanded form. What they did was their expanded form was 10 plus 3. And that's right. 10 plus 3 is the expanded form of 13. Then for 17, they broke it up into 10 and 7 because 10 plus 7 is the expanded form for 17. And that's step 1. Step 2 is to write down the top number by the number on the side. So what this means is you have to make sure you're lining up your boxes. And if you look here, what they did was their first box is here. And they took the 10 above and the 10 from the side to make their problem 10 times 10. Then they went and looked at the box next to it and did the same thing. They took their 7 down and they brought their 10 over. And that gave them 10 times 7. Then they went down to their next box and they brought the 3 and the 10 all the way down. And that gave them 3 times 10. And then finally, they went to their last box, brought the 3 from the left and the 7 from above, which gave them 3 times 7. And that was step 2. Step 3 is to multiply those answers together. So what they did was 10 times 10 equaled 100. And then they wrote down the number in their partial product so they didn't forget later to add it together. Then they did 10 times 7 equaled 70 and then added that to their partial product. 3 times 10 equaled 30 and wrote that into their partial product. And finally, they did 3 times 7 equals 21 and added that into their partial product. Once they were done with that, their next step was to add them all together. And so, as you can see in their partial product, they took the 100 plus the 70 plus the 30 plus the 21 and got 221 as their answer. And that was step 5. Now let's work through these steps using our own problems. The first thing I'm going to do is write and draw my box. And I'm going to write my partial product problem on the side so that I don't forget to write in my numbers later. Okay, first step is to break apart my numbers into smaller, easier numbers to work with, which is really turning my numbers into the expanded form of them. So 28, I know the expanded form of 28 is 20 plus 8. So I'm going to break up my box into 2 pieces, and I'm going to put a 20 and an 8. Then I'm going to look at my 6, and I know it's only in the ones place. It's a single digit number, so I don't have to break it up. I can just put that on the side. And now I'm going to go on to my next step, which is write down my multiplication problems in each of the boxes. So for my first box, I know I just got to bring down the 20 and bring over the 6. So 20 times 6. And then I have to do the same thing with the 6 and the 8. Just bring down the 8 and the 6 over. 6 times 8 equals. And then I'm done with step 2. Step 3, multiply. Now I'm just going to multiply. And I know that 2 times 6 equals 12, and I have just 1 0, so 120. And then I'm going to put that into my partial product for later. Now I'm going to go to my next box and multiply that number. And I know my multiplications, so I know 6, 8, 48. And I'm going to add that to my partial product as well. As you can see in my partial product, I am also making sure that I am lining up the numbers correctly so it's easier for me to add later on. And now I finished step 3 and step 4. Finally, I'm going to go to step 5. And step 5 is just to add my products together. My products being the 120 and the 48, which I already have here, so I can just do that. 0 plus 8 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. So my answer is 168. Let's try another problem. Start by drawing your box. And writing your partial product problem on the side. Okay. Step 1, break apart your numbers into smaller pieces. This is where expanded form comes in. I'll give you a second to figure out if you can find the expanded form of 28. Did you say 20 and 8? If so, you were right. So let's break this box apart into 20 and 8. Now let's look at the 63. How would you change that into expanded form? Did you say 60 plus 3? If so, you're correct. So we have to break that box into 2 pieces. and put 60 and 3. And now we are done with step 1. Step 2, we have to write our multiplication problems in. Let's look at this box first. What would the multiplication problem be for that box? Did you say 60 times 20? If so, you're correct. Now let's look at this box. I'll give you a second to figure out if you can find the multiplication problem that should go there. Did you say 20 times 3? Good. Now let's look at the bottom box. What would you put in that box? Did you say 60 times 8? If so, you're correct. Remember, what you're trying to do is line up the numbers on the top and the side of the box. So if you said 60 times 20, it can't be 20 because 20 is not next to it. It's diagonal from it. Let's do the last box. I'll give you one moment now to figure out if you can figure out the multiplication problem that should go into there. Okay, did you say 8 times 3? Nice work. And that is step 2. Now let's go down to step 3 and 4. First, we have to multiply the numbers and then add them to our partial product. So, I'm going to start with the 60 times 20. And I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. And there are 2 zeros there, which tells me it's going to be 1,200 this time. And I put it in my partial product right away. Go ahead and try 20 times 3. I'll give you a moment now to figure it out. Okay, did you say 2 times 3 is 6 and then add the 1 0? Good job. And then don't forget to add it to your partial product. Okay, go down and do 60 times 8. I'll give you a moment to figure that one out. Okay, did you say 6 times 8 is 48? And then you have 1 0 to add? If so, you're right. The answer would be 480. Take a moment to do the last box now. 8 times 3. Okay, did you say 24? Nice. Add that to your partial product. And now we are done with step 3 and step 4. So now it's time to do step 5, which is just add our answers or our products together. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 equals 4. 6 plus 8 equals 14, plus 2 more equals 16. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7. And then 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 1. So your answer is 1,764.